Good morning, Pamela. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
For our viewers at home, my name is Sasha. I am a graduate assistant with Student Success Outreach. Pamela, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again, Sasha, for inviting me for this video. Everybody, my name is Pamela Dutta. I am the Assistant Director for Administration at the Student Legal Services Office.
Thank you. This is the fourth installment of the new mentorship series from Student Success and CMAS, and we are really excited to hear from you about mentorship in general and the role that it has played in your life. So, thank you one more time for joining us. I am going to jump right into our questions this morning. Number
Wonderful.
one is, what does the concept of mentorship mean to you, and why is it important to seek out, especially for first generation college students?
Well, once again, thank you, Sasha. And it's truly an honor to be here and to have this opportunity to share some of my thoughts and my stories about mentorship for this audience. So thank you again. God, that's a pretty deep question and a very important one for sure. The concept of mentorship really shaped who I am and where I am today and how I got here and my role here at the university. I honestly, I feel like if I didn't have the support and the mentorships that were provided to me, I know that I would not be where I am today. And I think that's something that really makes me very humble and very appreciative of actually just being here today. So I just have to say thank you. The concept of mentorship for me really is a really broad term, but it's really for me, it's about guidance. It's about providing a pathway. And in whichever role you're in, either you're the mentor or the mentoree, it's sharing your experiences and challenges and kind of providing sometimes light and sometimes truth, honesty about the challenges of whatever you're trying to accomplish. And I think the mentorship is having that partner, kind of having that guidance, either be professionally or academically. I think it's just an amazing way to share your experiences. And I wanted to just give a little bit of context and a little bit of background of who I am and why I think this is important to talk about, especially for our first generation college students here at UMass Amherst and all over. I myself, I'm a first generation. My family immigrated from India back in the mid 60s. They immigrated to Canada, where I was born and raised my early childhood years, and found my way to the United States of America when I was 19 years old. I came to this country very young and married and jumped right into a professional career. So I took a very non-traditional way of saying, saying, telling you where I am today in a very non-traditional way, and also doing it in a very kind of alone and being in a country that I had no family, and sort of had to figure out my way and navigate life on my own. And so the the idea of shaping who I am started very early, and it really um, became very evident that without the mentors that were part of my life, who shaped who I am professionally, personally, I think it it just speaks to big volumes of what I do today and the work that I do today and how I want to share that. I think the mentorship really for first college generation students is really connecting and sharing stories and providing pathways for students.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Something you bring up reminds me of episode three. We talked a little bit about authenticity for those being mentored. You know, you have to bring who you really are to the space, but something you just brought up was authenticity for mentors as well. And then you shared your very personal story. Thank you again for sharing that. But I love the idea of like mentors and those being mentored coming together in a space where they can be 100% authentic. You need somebody who's going to be really real with you on both sides of that relationship, and I think that's a really important thing to remember and to mention. So, thank you for bringing that up and weaving that in. Question number two is, what role has mentorship? We got into this a little bit, but
Yeah.
more specifically, what role has mentorship played in your life? If you want to go into it a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sasha. I think, as I had already mentioned and alluded to, it's that it definitely, the mentorship, the role that it played in my life is it really shaped who I am personally and professionally. 100% in my career, it provided me with possibilities. My mentors, which I'm happy to share with you how that happened, um, I think gave me huge reassurance and guidance in providing me my pathway. One of my biggest mentors, and it may sound cliche, is actually my father. And my father was a lifetime learner. And really, from a very young point in my life, shared many, many stories, shared many, many of his challenges and his path and his life from leaving a country, with a family to a foreign country, and all of that, all of those challenges that came with it. But one thing he always was very proud of is that you should always be proud of who you are, and to be able to take chances and to provide, to be open to change and be open to connecting with people. And that was something that I hold very dear to my heart. And it's something that I think is sort of been passed to me, to take that ownership, to pass on to my to the folks that I work with, or to the young students that I work with or provide path. Mentorship in my life not only was from my father, but as I had to start a very non-traditional young career as a banker, I had two very significant women that I worked with who were in leadership roles. And being in my early 20s, I was in total awe and very appreciative of having them be able to show me that regardless of how young I was, or a woman of a color, or a young professional, that there were possibilities, and that with hard work and with um, with just being open-minded to wanting to push myself and challenge myself, I was really able to excel in my professional career. So I will always be grateful for the mentors that have been part of my life, and that I've also always continued to seek out here at the university. And and just really, in just summary, just really provided me with possibilities and reassurance when I decided to do a 180 in my life, being being married and having children, and then all of a sudden finding myself in a new place in my life where I did a 180, where I actually decided that I wanted to go back to school and fulfill my degree that I never was able to. That's how I connected with myself. And I think I just um, think how critical that was, that I was able to have the mentors to guide me, that it's okay to take a chance and to change and look outside of the box. And so that's how I landed back here at UMass.
Thank you. I love what you just said about deciding to come back to school, being a path that helped you to connect with yourself. I think that's huge, and having the mentorship to help you do that is really amazing. You also said that your father, as a mentor, helped you to embrace change and embrace the importance of connecting with people. And I think
Mhm.
those are both huge too. And this is not a question that I sent you ahead of time, so I'm going to deviate a little bit. But what would you say to students right now about embracing change and the importance of connecting to people, especially to students who, I mean, change is hard and connecting to people can be really scary. What would you advise
Yeah,
to do that?
that's a good question, Sasha, and that's something that I'm very fond of talking about, actually, because I can personally and very very vulnerably share my own stories. And I think that's really critical in terms of sharing our narratives, our stories, our pathways, how we got here. Connecting can be a daunting experience. It could be depending on your cultural background, your personal background, your social networks. It's involving, and I've found myself as I've grown from being a very young professional to where I am today, that it actually changed and it morphed, and sometimes it went one way and then it went the other way. But just personally, once you're able to open yourself up and allow yourself to be vulnerable, or to be open to being curious, asking questions, people want to connect. And I find that they're there, and that I hope students on our campus take advantage and be comfortable enough and feel safe enough. I think that's important. It's feeling safe enough in spaces where us as professionals, my role here on campus is to be able to be that ally, to be that friend, to be that professional who can find something to connect with.
Thank you. I think that leads really well into our final question, which is, when is the best time? When do you think the best time to start seeking out mentorship is? And what's your number one piece of advice for those just starting out?
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Sasha. It's all about relationship building. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna work backwards. There is no right time but to start immediately. Relationship building, start early, students. Start early, please. And I know it's a daunting experience. There's again, depending on your home situation, your cultural background. Coming to college could be the very first time leaving home. Many responsibilities, working multiple jobs, having family to take care of. Um, we sometimes forget to put ourselves first, but I think this is where you give yourself an opportunity to say, no, it's okay. I'm gonna put some of your needs and your goals come first. And so start early. And it's never too late to start early. My own personal experience, being a non-traditional student, coming back to UMass through the University Without Walls, um, and landing the position where I am, which I think I wanted to take a moment to share with everybody, Sasha, if that's okay with you, is that I've been with the university for over 18 years. And coming in as a non-traditional student was something that I wanted to kind of push myself and look at other opportunities. And that, again, was through guidance of family as well as mentors. Um, I was an intern at the Student Legal Services office when I was the semester before graduating, and I was curious about the law. I knew nothing about the law. And from my own personal experiences, I wanted to learn more about it. So I took advantage of doing my very first internship as a student at UMass Amherst. And I haven't left that position. I haven't left that office, because that internship opened up so many doors for me. It provided me, and so then my very most precious professional mentor was the director at the Student Legal Services office, who has now retired. But I will always value that relationship, because it really opened up a professional career and a whole other area to learn. And I'm grateful and thankful for that. And again, it is my advice to connect with people on campus as best as you can. Find something that you can relate to. Find a connection, either be a department, be it an individual, be it your advisor, be it even the Student Legal Services office. Come and, just put yourself out there. Find a connection and find something that you're interested in. And on the flip side, also push yourself and put yourself in situations that might not feel as comfortable as well, because sometimes you'll be surprised where you could meet with somebody and connect with somebody who has a whole other aspect of life, or depending on what you're seeking as from a mentor. So um, It's good to find connections where you're comfortable, but it's also good to put yourself in new situations. I don't think I would be where I am today if I didn't do that, if I didn't take that chance, and then if I didn't have people who believed in me. And I think that's really important. And I just want to also mention that because my career started as an intern at Student Legal Services, and now 18 years forward, here I am having the opportunity to manage a law office as a non-attorney, doing the things I love, being passionate about it. I get to work with lots of young students in our office. And I did ask Sasha ahead of time, but I just wanted to say that if you are ever curious about the law, if you're looking for a fabulous internship on our campus, please go to the Student Legal Services website. We are just accepting applications for the spring. We do an amazing internship every semester. So if not, you can just reach out to me directly as well.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing everything. Something jumping out to me, and it's something that I never thought about before, was that being brave and seeking mentorship is a form of self care. And I never thought about it in those terms, but that's been kind of this like underlying theme to everything you've been sharing today. And I just wanted to thank you for your personal stories and for framing it that way.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I love how you summarize that because that is absolutely um, one of the ways that I like to think of mentorship. It's and again, being on both sides of it, I think it's definitely an amazing experience. We have an amazing campus, and I wish all our students the best of luck.
Thank you so much again.